still going to do this is so important. So can you hear me okay? I want to make sure you can because I want to make sure that my earbuds are coming through okay. Can you hear me okay? Thumbs up or in the chat feature? Yeah, good, 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 good. All right. So what we're going to be talking about, I think, is probably one of the most important topics of our generation. I really do. And we're going to be talking about self-care and systems. We're going to talk a little bit about something we put in place to expand it beyond just a good thing to do, you know. And so I want to make sure you can hear me. Heather, can you hear me? Something just popped up in yours. I want to make sure you can hear me okay. Yeah, it was like something strange that just
I'm
popped up.
good. I was trying to remove the thumb.
Okay. All right. So I'll make sure. All right. And so we're going to be talking about, I think, is a topic of the year in particular in workforce development, and that's self-care. I've had the honor and the privilege of working with a lot of your peers throughout the country, be it virtual or live. My team and I really establishing effective systems of self-care, and you'll see in a few moments why we focus on that because this industry has been through a lot in the last couple of years. And it's not just this industry. It could be other government agencies or corporations or education institutions, you name it. We've been experiencing some things. And so today, my hope is that this is going to augment your understanding of this topic. And again, I'm not going to go deep on it because there's other things we have. We have research, we have all kinds of stuff, but in 35, 40 minutes, I don't have time to go into all of that. If you want more information, we can get it over to you. But today, I just want to kind of lay a general foundation about this whole thing of self-care and why it's so important and why we decided, you know, that this year is an important year to focus on self-care in our industry. All right. And so if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of pop up a PowerPoint. If you have any questions at any point, feel free to jump on board. Like I said, I'm just excited that you all are here, and let's see where we can go with this. All right. So again, I apologize for any noise you may hear in the background. So let me actually ask you a question. How many of your organizations have been, you can either come off with mute or you can pop this in the chat feature, but how many organizations have started talking about this topic? Wellness, self-care, things of that nature. Has any of your organization been having conversations about it at all? Is it on the radar screen with your organization?
Hi, Coach D. This is Sheila. I'm going to
Hey.
say that because, as you know, I'm with the Department of Corrections, and I think Department of Corrections has started moving to that because a lot of stuff that we're doing lately, it talks about the mindset and,
Mm-hmm.
um, dealing with the stress and the emotions,
Mm-hmm.
of individuals, especially with the stressful
Mm-hmm.
environment which a lot of our
Mm-hmm.
employees work in. So I'm going to
Yes.
say the Department of Correction has started focusing and looking at that self-care piece.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate that, Sheila. Good to see you here as well. And just let you know, I'm going to be spending some time with her in a few weeks with her team. So thank you for taking the time to come on board with us here. And then Heather said that my team, they completed mental health first aid training. Good, good. And so I'm going to build off of that with both of you all because, you know, the fact that we're having these kind of trainings nowadays shows the times that we're living in. This industry, be it in corrections or other areas, is what I call helps industry. And with helps industries, what you typically have is people that's pouring out all the time. You understand what I mean by that? Like we pour out all the time. We're trying to help other people make decisions that's going to be better for their lives. That's what we do. You know. So, but the challenge with that is it's like this cup right here. Got a little cup of coffee. If I pour out this cup of coffee, what does this render this cup? Anybody wants trying to jump in the chat or come off of you can tell me what's going to happen if I pour all this out? All right. Or if I drink it all? What does that leave this cup? Anybody want to take a shot at it?
It leaves the cup empty.
Empty. and Sheila, let me ask you a question. As much as I want to get another sip, will I be able to?
No, you will not. You're gonna wind up to the point to where it's empty and it's also dry.
It's
Um,
dry,
because
dry. Yep.
eventually the moisture that's in the cup, once you pull the liquid out,
Yep.
because it's still upside
Mm,
down,
yep.
becomes dry. So you have
It becomes dry.
absolutely nothing.
So as much as I want to get something out of this cup, the chances are, right, Heather, right, Veronica, I ain't getting nothing out of it. So, and that's where a lot of us end up. You know, and I love how you said that, Sheila. We end up dry. You know, there's nothing there. But guess what? Tomorrow we got to come back to work and we got to pour it out again. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, okay, now I'm pouring out of an empty cup. And hence, that's where you see the depression rates, hence that where you see the compassion fatigue rates, all the things that impact our industry. So companies and organizations and workforce groups like yours are saying, hey, this is more than just a training now. This has to be something that I call woven into our DNA. We're encouraging our people to take ownership of their self-care journey. All right. So I'm going to pause for a moment. Some of you have heard me present, some of you have not, but I always want to make sure folks understand, for me, you know, workforce development, the reason why I got into this space, it changed my life. And I'm not going to tell the full story, but I want you to understand why this is important to me. My mom was in a workforce development program many years ago in the 70s. And many times she wanted to give up. Many times she wanted to quit. And there were several times that she did. But that organization never gave up on her. Literally back then, I know times have changed, but back then they would come knocking on her door if she wouldn't show up for class. She was in a adult GED program, you know, looking to get her GED. And then it was also a combination of job training and things like that. And I'll never forget one time, I was about 5 years old. One of the directors came to the house because she hadn't shown up, knocked on our door and said, Connie, where have you been? And my mom's named Connie. Unfortunately, I lost my mom last year. She was 81 years old. She passed in June, and I'm okay because mom had dementia. She had all these problems. She gave her life to the Lord. She's in a better place. So I'm okay with that. But this gentleman said to her, Connie, where have you been? And she was in tears. She said, I just need help. I got these two boys. I don't know what to do, single. And he said, Connie, let me tell you something. I want you to hear this and hear me on this. He said, as you go, those boys are going to go. So yes, it's hard. Yes, it seems like you want to give up, but as you go, they go. So Connie, get back in class, get focused because your life will change forever. Forever. See, sometimes we got to compel people through stories and conversations that get them to see the bigger picture. So make a long story short, my mom got back into class. She graduated, class valedictorian. Lady, she gave her class valedictorian speech in a full-length leather suit in the month of June. So she was hot. And she had to be hot up there. It's 97 degrees. And she giving her speech. And I told my mom, I said, you look hot up there. And she said, I know, baby. I said, no, mom, not hot like hot. You hot because it's 90 degrees and you got a leather suit on. I've always been okay with linguistics. No problem with that. And my mom just looked at me and shook her head and said, one day, boy, you're going to use that mouth to make a difference. But from that story, beyond. She landed a job with Allegheny Airlines, ran the course with that for 35 to 40 years. We went from abject poverty in Syracuse, New York, to now traveling all over the country for free because of the power of what y'all do every day. I'm going to send you this video. Share that part with your teams because I want them to understand this is significant work. What even, again, what you're doing, Sheila, in corrections, you change one life. One, you can change a whole generation. And that's why, I put these pictures up, but that's why I wanted to put this up here. You're generational transformation experts. It's so important to see this because I've had a chance to travel all over the world. I've impacted organizations in just about every state multiple times, conferences everywhere. NAWDP, as you can see, twice as a keynote speaker, a bunch of books, met Maya Angelou. Here's Maria from Sesame Street. These are just different aspects of my life that happened because of this work. Okay. And here's my daughter. She was the first youth to ever keynote at the NAWDP Youth Convention. Y'all need to show me a little love for that. That was a proud daddy moment. Mom, my sweetheart was on that stage and I was so proud of her. She's just a recent graduate of American University. But this all started many years ago from the journey, that journey of workforce development. And so So that's, I just want to let you know why I care about this industry. I want to lay that foundation. That's the end of that. But there's a reason why. It's not just a guy running his mouth. There's a person that has been impacted by this industry. And so I appreciate, your thoughts. And yeah, thank you so much, Veronica. Appreciate that. And so she just graduated. She got a job with the Grammys. My daughter will be at the Grammys next week. she's in their policy arm. And that's her thing. She loves doing policy stuff for artists. And so she's working Capitol Hill and doing stuff over there. But that's her lane, and I'm proud of her. All right. So when we talk about year of self-care, I want you to know there's really I'm a big believer in less is more. And so with the year of self-care, what this is all about is every month, like we're getting together now, I'm probably going to talk a lot more today than I will next month. But today I'm laying a foundation. Next month is going to be topic and then conversation, topic and then coaching. So today I want to give you some ideas of what we're going to be doing, and so you can see why this is important. And hopefully you'll take it out and let people know, because what we're trying to do, in particular in this industry, and there will be others from other industries, but in this industry, is create a systems approach to self-care. That's what I mean by DNA, all right? Where we are now so committed to self-care as an organization that leads to wellness that, guess what? Now we got people, just like we talk about customer service, just like we talk about policy and all of that, we talk about self-care too. And so what we're going to be focused on is the categories of self-care. I'm just going to mention a few today, but there's others. Then we're going to talk about synergy. How do we create synergy so that we don't lose momentum? So when we talk about categories, which will be a month-to-month thing, how do we take those categories of self-care and implement them? There's a quote that I would love you to write down because I live by this quote, and that is, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our systems. So it's the systems that we have that help us produce the outcomes, okay? And so the categories, and then we're talking about synergy. That's how we're going to come together and bond around this topic. And then accountability. How can we encourage each other to stay the course? So when we talk about a year, every month, you're going to see some of this involved in our conversation on self-care. It's me. I have some certified experts that's going to be involved. We're talking about mindfulness. That's going to be talking about wellness, diet, exercise, fitness. I'm just here today, but there's going to be others that's going to be walking us through this process in other categories. So it's not just going to be me. It will be other people engaged. Some of you may have remember meeting Herky at the SETA conference. If you were in my presentation, she's going to be involved with mindfulness. She's really good at that. So she'll be one of them. And I have Colleen Bertrand, that's more of a self-care expert that we talk about wellness and other categories and habits and things like that. So again, this is not going to be long. So when we talk about self-care, I want you to understand that self-care is a precursor to wellness. All right. Self-care is a precursor to wellness. So keep that thought in mind. I'm going to come off a screen share. And what does that mean to you? Self-care is a precursor to wellness. Talk to me about that. Somebody, when you hear that statement, what does that mean to you? It could be anyone. Self-care is a precursor to wellness. What does it, if you can't, what does it sound like to you? Anybody want to take a shot at it? You can also type in the chat feature if you like. Self-care is a precursor to wellness. I don't want to rush off of this because this is an important statement. But what does that mean?
I think it means you have to take steps to care for yourself in order to be well.
Love that, Heather. Thank you so much. Yes, someone else was going to say something?
Yes, I'm going to kind of piggyback off what Heather was saying. I mean, you've got to have a plan in place, and it's got to be a plan that you consistently follow in order to keep that wellness done. I mean, and I'll kind of use this as my example because my doctor got on to me. I don't drink enough water, and I know I don't. But now my goal is for him not to fuss at me about my kidneys or whatever. And I've got to, make it a conscious decision that every day I drink these six cups of water that he requires and make it part of my diet.
Yes.
So that's part of that self-care. It's got to be consistent. You can't just start it and quit. It's got to be a consistent thing.
Yeah, both of you are spot on. You nailed it. Veronica, you have any thoughts? I mean, it's just, I mean, you nailed it. Both of you are spot on with that. I don't know if Veronica has any thoughts on it, but let me say this. Both of you, spot on. See, here's the thing. You do, and please write this down as a note because there's some lessons in all of this. You don't get to wellness without self-care. You feel me on that? You don't get there because we have relegated self-care to just yoga or smoothies or manicures and pedicures. Please write this down and I'll type it. What I'm talking about is mindset. This is mindset. The mindset that I'm going to do the things I need to do that to make wellness a priority in my life. Just like you said, Sheila, you said that doctor said I need to drink 6 glasses or 6 cups of water every day. You are now doing the precursor. See, the doctor is telling you this now because they don't want to see you 2 years from now and tell you something else. You know what I mean? They don't want to say, I told you you were supposed to do that and you didn't, and here we are. And so the doctor is saying to you what I'm saying to organizations like yours all over the country, take ownership. Own it. So now we got to get our teams to own it. Now that's difficult because sometimes people are like, well, is this the job of the workplace to tell me? It's all in how it's delivered. If it's like it becomes a policy, sure, they're going to take it that way. But when you can communicate with them the benefits, just not at work, that's a different conversation. That's what we love with our workshops because we're inspired. Some of you may have sat in one or you've seen one. I know we sent a video clip out of one we just recently did here in Florida. We're inspiring people around this stuff because I want healthy, sound, whole people. Like for me, like part of it is my motivation too. Like that same mother that I just told y'all about, I love her with every ounce of who I am and I miss her every day. But she was diagnosed with diabetes and she didn't take that doctor seriously. And it eventually caught up to her. And I'm like, I look back at her and said, man, her life could have been so much better if she would have taken self-care seriously. And I love my mom and I'm not talking about her, but there's things that she did that caused certain things to happen to her. She ended up getting dementia and a bunch of other things. And that's because, and I used to always get on her about, come on, mom, come work out with me. And mom, let's make sure we're eating more of a vegan-based diet. And I love, moms don't always listen to their sons. So I said, mom, your son out here teaching the whole world this stuff. You need to be sitting there, listening to me. But but I love her dearly. And she was a great woman. I'm so grateful for every moment I had with her. But that self-care is a precursor. Don't forget that. So if I want wellness, I got to do self-care. And that's what I want your people to know, your teams to know. If I want wellness, I got to do self-care. You see? And so why is it in workforce development and other categories of the health centers? Why? Because you got compassion fatigue, secondary traumatic effect, clients and fellow coworkers dealing with post-pandemic issues. And we can't fill up another person's cup if ours is empty. Just like this cup scenario right here. See, now this cup is empty because I drank all the coffee in it. But guess what? It's empty. So I need to, if I want something out of there, I got to fill it back up. And so with self-care, please understand this and please write this down as a note for yourself, or if you're going to share this, because I will be sending this video to you. If you can share with others, I want you to understand self-care is filling up my cup so that I have enough to fill up other people's cups. Does that make sense? You see, if my cup is empty, I can't do that. But if I'm doing certain things, and you're going to see a few of those things in just a few moments, in doing these things, I'm filling up my cup. I fill up my cup. And so now when I walk into work the next day, or if I'm dealing with a situation with a client, or if I'm a leader and I'm dealing with a situation with one of my managers or directors, because, it depends on what level you are in your organization, I can handle it better because I'm not dealing with them from an empty cup. And so that's where we run into all these problems. Listen, this is where we run into toxic cultures. This is when we run into employee recruitment and tension issues. Now, there's other aspects of that around what I call post-pandemic leadership, and that's a whole nother message. We coach leaders on post-pandemic leadership skills because a lot of times leaders don't realize that the way that they're leading people today, all right, is different than the way you led people 3-4 years ago. It's a totally different population that you're dealing with. And that's a skill set that needs to be learned as well. All right. You may have noticed that in the, if I go back to my first page, that was one of the titles of the book I'm writing right there, Post-Pandemic Leadership. All right. And so it's just important to understand these things are just of critical. And so the categories, I just want to take a moment and talk about some of this. And if I can get beyond here, is these are kind of what I call critical areas. Now, please write these down and put on your note critical areas. And then I'm going to ask you a question. Okay. Like I said, this is not lecture. This is conversation. And this ain't a motivational speech. So that's a totally different thing. A lot of people see me at NOTA, they used to be doing my motivational. This is a serious topic. So I want you to get this. So I'm here to inspire about it, but I'm not here to do a motivational speech. Okay. So why is sleep critical? Somebody tell me. Why is sleep considered? These are the 3 base areas of self-care to me. But why is sleep critical? Anybody want to take a shot at that? Why is it?
It's when your body rejuvenates.
Bingo. You must have sat in one of my workshops. I'm just messing with you. You're absolutely right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. It allows your brain to reset. Yes. It allows you to rejuvenate. Nailed it. You see, and one of the biggest areas of rejuvenation, okay, is cell. Please write this down. Cell rejuvenation. All right. So organ rejuvenation. See, our body, rest is a time for healing. That's what rest is. Your body does its best healing when you rest. That's why, what does the doctor tell you to do when you get sick? Rest. They know what they're talking about. You rest because why? You are trying to heal. So that's why in the morning you wake up, you feel better because your body has just had 8 hours of healing. It can't do much healing when you're running around and bouncing around and doing things and all of that. So sleep, thank you both, all the responses, is a time of rejuvenation. Thank you for that, Heather. And thank you for all your comments as well. What about eating well? Why is eating well a critical area? I always laugh when I say this one, but this is the one we all need a little extra help with because we love food. But why is eating well a critical area? Anybody want to take a shot at that?
To me, eating well gives you a balanced diet, which also helps your body be able to function. There are certain nutritions when you eat well that you provide to your body, and when you don't eat well, then you're missing those nutrition, and you're also adding more negative items into the body that the body now has got to struggle with processing.
Bingo. You just, if you were taking a test, you would have gotten an A. Because you're right. See, I'm the first. I'm not going to ever tell anybody not to enjoy a good meal. I just won't say that. Because sometimes you get people that go extreme with this and say, you got to cut it all out. You got to cut everything out and things that. Listen, to some extent, there's some truth to it. But I understand if I want a person wants a nice steak, I'm more on the vegan side of things. But if a person wants a nice steak, I'm not going to tell them to eat a steak because there's protein in steak. There's all kinds of stuff in steak. So what I'm just trying to say is don't eat steak every day. Don't eat hamburgers every day. Just understand there's a thing that's important. And I'm going to stop this and put this in the chat feature because I want you to get this word. All right. I'm probably spelling this wrong. All right. So if I spelled it wrong, don't get on me about my spelling there it is. All right. Micronutrients. The thing we have to understand is this. Vegetables, fruit, things of that nature, grains, whole grains, put micronutrients into your body. Now think about it. We always say we have nutrient. Remember, nutrition. That's where this word comes from. What do you think a micronutrient is? Anybody want to take a shot at that? What does it mean, micronutrients? Anybody want to take a shot? What do you think that is? Micronutrients. That's a tough one. You can Google it and act like you know. See, a micronutrient is nutrients that go to that deep cellular level. So it's almost like a energy boost for your body. So what it does is it hyper energizes your cells and all the other aspects and the functions of your body, because it's going beneath, it's going lower. So, green leafy greens, salads, and, fruits, vegetables. Now you gotta be careful eating too many fruits, because fruits have a lot of sugar. So you don't want to overdo it with fruits, but a balance is good. Vegetables is almost like you can eat that all day long. Unless you got some medical condition, make sure you got the medical, because some vegetables aren't best, for some medical conditions, but, the reality is that these micronutrients get to that level and strengthen you. That's why you can tell when a person eats a certain way, you can see they have energy. You know what I'm saying? They have a lot of energy. Like people, I'm not trying to, again, I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm the sage on the stage, but people say, Coach, at your age, how come you're so energetic? I said, because I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I pray from 6 to 6:30. I work out from 6:30 to 7:30, and then I'm off to working. I'm gonna have a bowl of oatmeal and I'm off to work. You know what I mean? When I'm not out somewhere speaking and training, but when I'm out speaking and training, I'm doing the same thing. You would invite me to your location. Coach would have been up at 6:30, got that workout in, and be at your location. If you say if it's a 9-shot workshop, I'm going to get that in. I'm also going to get my grains through oatmeals and whole grains and things like that. And then I'm also going to do my fish. Every now and then I do fish, but more on the vegan side. So I'm going to do more vegetables and things like that and fruits. But, I do like fish. So, I had a fish stew last night. Love fish, but I don't eat I try to eat a lot of meats every day. So if I eat a fish stew on Monday, I probably won't eat another thing like that until Friday or Saturday. Give my body some time just to go more on the vegetable side, because I like those micronutrients. For me, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to put this in let me say this. Type this in so you can see it. Our body is our vehicle. This is how we get around. You know what I mean? This is how we live our life. This guy talking to you, my body is not Sheila's body, is not Veronica's body, is not Heather's body. It's mine, and yours is yours. Now, what I'm saying is, we need to take the time to value what we have. And that's what ownership is all about, valuing myself. That's why it's called self-care. So what I'm saying is, like, a lot of people say, well, Coach, you mean I got to get out and go? No, I'm not saying you got to get up and do anything. You don't have to go out and run 10 miles. You go walk 2 blocks. All right. Let me go to the next one, because I feel like I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. And so the eating well, the eating well, we talked about that with those micronutrients, but then also eating well prevents things. It prevents diabetes. It prevents, like they said, people who have diabetes can reverse it by their diet. It's one of those few reversible things that we have. Okay. And then exercise. Now, the big thing with exercise I want us to get is, a lot of us deal with stress, right? But how many of you would agree at some point in your life you're dealing with stress? Hands up, thumbs up, or whatever, and you're, a chat feature. We deal with stress, right? A lot of times that's daily. Okay. And so what exercise does more than anything, yep. All right. Yeah. What it does, it decreases those stress levels. Exercise is one of the top ways. You want to hear this? I read this. I couldn't believe it. It was an American Medical Association study. Exercise is one of the best ways to eliminate depression. People who exercise have way less depression than people who don't. So when you look at our country right now, the 20% clinically diagnosed depression rate, 35% with millennials, we need more people exercising. Because one of my sons was dealing with some depression issues, and so I was a little concerned about him, but he got interested in boxing. And guess what? Those depression issues are gone now. Because that guy's in that gym training, hitting that bag, he's running miles, he's doing all this stuff. He ain't dealing with no depression issues anymore. because of the way the body responds to exercise, okay? So that's the second part we talked about. Then we said, but then we talked about synergy, totally exceptional attitudes meshing. So we want we're ready to wrap this up. The purpose of this group meeting we're going to have every month, like I said, today I'm talking more than I normally would. In the next ones, it's going to be primarily coaching with some content, and assignments. I'm going to give you an assignment today, and then next month we'll work on that assignment, and that is synergy. We want the totally exceptional attitudes meshing. It's called teamwork. The same thing we want in our organizations. We want teamwork. We want people with the right attitudes working together to achieve an outcome. So the year of self-care is about synergy, working together, inspiring each other towards self-care, what I call a self-care DNA. I just want to put this in here more than once so you can get it. Our goal is a self-care DNA. That's what I want. I want by the end of this year, your organizations, your people, your teams, where self-care is just as much a part of the conversation as anything else. Because then you won't even have to talk about wellness. You won't even need a wellness department. You won't need it. Because if you got the people owning this stuff, the rest of it's pretty easy. Okay? And so accountability, you know what I mean? It's simple. We will talk about we'll talk more about this later. And a lot of this is what we do with organizations too. You need self-care pods. Like in organizations, we always create those. But my hope is that we have enough people that sign up to do this, what we're doing now. We can put people in breakout rooms and they can kind of be in pods. Let's say if you went out and you say to several of your peers, hey, I want to get involved with this thing the coach is doing, and you guys join it, and I can say, okay, well, then we'll create a pod just for your team. And so every month, you will be getting together with us for like an hour, and then you and your pod will go in and work on some of these assignments together. Because it's been scientifically proven that when people work together, they accomplish a lot more. And another thing we're going to do is journaling. I'm actually writing a self-care journal right now. So you can journal the experience so you can look back and see where you come from. And it all leads to accountability. And accountability, my friends, I put it in there. I know it makes sense. I'm saying accountability, I put accountability. But the reality is I could have replaced that word with ownership. That's what we want. You want to own this space. And you don't have to explain it to anybody. If you take your diet part seriously and you lose weight, you don't have to explain to people. I'll tell people if I'm dieting and trying to lose weight, I only want people complimenting me. I'm like, oh man, you can see this. No, I'm not doing anything. Because the moment we get that little compliment, the next thing we do, we dropping the ball. No, I ain't doing nothing. You don't see nothing. I'm fine. Let me get to my goal and then we can celebrate. But right now, I ain't talking about no celebration. I want to own this space till I hit my goals. And so that's the last part of it. So a good book to read is just from mindset perspective. Yeah. Is this book here by Dr. Carol Dweck. And this may seem strange because this is about self-care, but this book is good about mindset. And I really believe that all of it, self-care, teamwork, organizational culture, leadership, you name it, is steeped in mindset. Another thing it's steeped in too is emotional intelligence. Okay? Emotional intelligence. Okay. And so this is a good read. So when you look at what we're trying to do in these next 12 months, we're talking about self-care, we're talking about accountability, we're talking about team synergy, and we're talking about categories. We want to work those categories. So next month, we're not going to look at all the categories. We're going to look at one, and that's rest. How do we put more effective systems together to achieve rest? So I don't know if you're going to join us next month or not. I did mention this one is free. It'll be a nominal charge for people to be a member of this thing. But if you do, and we got group discounts, so if you're part of an organization and 20 of you want to join, we'll give you a real good rate. It's a good rate anyway. We'll give you a real good rate, and we can get the 20 in there, and we can set you up in your own self-care pod. You're working with each other during these sessions. We'll have it preset so that when we go into the breakouts, you'll go right with your group. Or if you have some peers that you want to do, or some friends or family members, it doesn't matter. We're going to do this. I don't care if it's 5 people, we're going to do it. Because I want to establish a foundation so that we can start making this a priority and stop just talking about it. All right? We got to stop talking about this and we need to start doing it. Okay? And so I love this quote by Dr. Bernice King, and she said, history does not remember people who went with the grain. History remembers those who went against it. And what I want everyone to do this year is go against the grain when it comes to self-care. Stop talking about it like it's a bunch of, gentle type foo-foo things that we do, which is fine. I mean, I like manicures and pedicures like anybody else. I do. My wife told me when I got married, honey, you got to get them feet worked on and you're going to work them nails. I was, yes, baby. And so 30 years later, I'm still married. So you should show me some love for that. We're 30, hit 30 this August. But those things are important. But what's more important is right here, mindset, how we see things, okay? And so that's all I got today. If your organization is interested in an event, we do events. We do coaching for teams. So we have a lot of our ongoing customers. And if this is not something interesting to you, maybe share with your peers, because we're all word of mouth. So let people know. I'm going to send you this video. Share this video with them. We will come in and physically do a self-care training, or we will also do virtual, where we can do a virtual training. Most of our customers, we do multiple virtual trainings and multiple coachings every month, but what we're trying to do that's going to kind of change that now is do these monthly events, because the way it works, we typically train and coach within the same month, so for some of the folks, we may be training and then they can just get involved with the community at the end of the month. So it all depends. And then, if you put your camera up near the card, you can get my card, business card, and I'll have your information and we can all this. And then also, one thing I'm willing to do, if you want to do a debrief with me, okay, you can go to, let me see here, everyone, just reach out to me at, 1 second here, and we can do a debrief. So I'm about to end this because I said about 45 minutes. And so if you want to do a debrief, if you want to bring a team together, say, Coach, we'd love to talk more about this. Listen to this. If you want a free lunch and learn, I'm willing to do that with your team or people that may be interested in this, because we're trying to get the word out. You know what I mean? We're trying to get the word out. This is new. It's fresh. No one's doing it the way we're doing it. There's a lot of, like you say, individualized trainings. There's a lot of focus on mental health. But I'm telling you, this thing is about ownership. And the more we own our self-care journey, the less we got to deal with mental health issues. Now, let me clear something. Some people need help. Some people, it's not just about self-care. They literally need a therapist. They need, therapy. And that's okay, because sometimes we need it. But all things being equal, we can handle a lot of our challenges by understanding that self-care is a precursor to wellness, and we need to do something to achieve that goal. So, you know what happened? I think, I'm still, there you go. All right. So any questions? I know we covered a lot in a very short period of time, but I want to kind of lay the foundation. Do you have any questions, anyone, or any comments? What did you learn? What are your takeaways? If you don't have any questions, what do you walk away with today? If each person can tell me a little bit of something that you may have gotten today.
I'm going to say that for me, it's just kind of validating and confirming that, one, that I myself personally need to pay more attention and really get involved in that self-care piece about myself. But also being able to help share that with my coworkers on their various journeys of, what it should be for them.
I love that. And the part I love the most is you sharing it with your coworkers. You know what I mean? Because we get this information and sometimes we keep it all to ourselves. And it's like, no, we don't, this is not what it's all about. It's about us doing what it takes so that we all can benefit from this. So thank you so much. Anyone else? Just tell me, just real quick, like, what did you know what I mean? What did you get out of this? What's your takeaway? Okay, importance of I see in the chat page. Okay, importance of micronutrients and overall wellness. Yep, okay, good. Appreciate that. All right. And so, again, if you want to debrief, if you're leading a team and want to have more conversation about this, if you're interested on an individual basis, I'm more than willing to do a, 20, 25, 30-minute debrief. So my information is all in the chat feature there. I'll put my website there. Please share that with other people. If you can please, just take a look at that. Sitting there in the chat feature. And Don't keep us a secret. I always tell folks sometimes we're the best kept secret in town. Don't do that to us. We don't need to be a secret. We are out here trying to make a difference in this space. We have been for 20 something years. And like I said, we're going up and working with Sheila's team in a few weeks. And we're not doing self-care in particular there, but we're going to be doing some other things. And we're here to help. You know, this is what we do. And but we also need help letting people know we're on the planet. So please, there's my website. If there's some information there, if you need more information, we can email it to you. And that's all I got for today. No more questions. Thank you for your time. I will be following up with information about the actual program itself if you're interested in participating or getting other people involved. But also, please keep in mind, we do offer, you know, virtual. If you're not interested in particular that, we do virtual and live workshops. And I'm telling you, they're fire. Both of them fire, because we're very serious about this message and helping people develop lifestyles around self-care that lead to wellness. So thank you all so much for your time. Sheila, I'll see you in a few weeks. You will be getting a copy of this video. Please share it with your peers. All right. Can I get that commitment? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye now. Thank you.